Q&A. We're gonna talk politics, we're gonna talk news, we're gonna talk about everything else like that. But this is open. Any topic you guys want to talk about, any questions you guys have, because I've been releasing a lot of videos on a lot of different things over the last week, and damn, I am exhausted. Although I hope you get the humor in the title. Kind of making fun of Redacted, if you know who they are. I like them for news and stuff like that. But um, anyways, uh, if you look at the hey, what's up, Occult? What's up, Chris? Nice to see you. All right. So if you look at the video I released early today at 7 o'clock, um, what's up, Matthew? The video at 7 o'clock this morning. One of the things that I said is that the key indicators would be for the collapse of the dollar would be the bond market going over 5%, which happened today, and gold going over 3,000. It hit 3,200 today. All we have left as the three indicators that it gave us for the dollar collapse, or at least that we're getting de-dollarized, is the inflation will hit about 8%. Okay, so be prepared for that. If you, heed the warning, don't heed the warning. Even people like Stephen Van Meter are stepping up and saying, hey, um, this is just like 2008 because interest rates hit 5%. We have a liquidity crisis. The markets are going to seize up. We're going to have a global collapse like we had in 2008. And already the hedge funds have gone to the Federal Reserve for a bailout, and they have been turned down. So this is the writing's on the wall. If I were you, the suggestion that I gave in the video was that you put your currency in like a foreign exchange, something outside of the dollar, because the dollar is going to fall back once the world de-dollarizes. The BRICS and intercurrency demand, and it's just going to be based upon the strength and stability of your currency, which is what every American really wants. They don't understand. They think that in order for us to be solvent, we've got to be number one. That's not true. And so our clinging to the number one. And it was very disheartening, especially after everything that I've learned as I've done a deep dive into this whole thing, is that I got to listen to the White House press secretary get up and talk about how America is the best and greatest economy in the world, and we're the most powerful economy in the world. And so therefore 75 countries coming to our aid was something um, that showed how powerful we are. I think there's something like 163 countries, so the less than 50%. That means probably most of the global south and most of the people that do a majority of their business with China probably said, screw it, we're getting more from China, so there's no need to even worry about trying to do business. There's also those within BRICS that want to de-dollarize. You've got Saudi Arabia, who's now part of BRICS, and so now they have the BRICS. The petrodollar could technically be pinned to BRICS. So as far as like de-dollarizing, and what does it really mean to be the world reserve currency? What is it that we get, and what is it that we give? Because Donald Trump is actually not being honest when he says that we've been being screwed by the rest of the world. No, we got screwed. We screwed ourselves, and now we want to blame it on the rest of the world. Because here's the thing. Um, for I think when I went down to Mexico like 20 years ago, I think it was either 5 or 50 pesos, something like that, for every American dollar. Okay, so if I could pay somebody 20 pesos an hour, that's less than $1 an hour. And so therefore their currency, because the standard bearer, the thing that everything is pegged to, that is the stellar example, is the US dollar. So that makes it the most expensive currency on the planet. Okay. And so by doing that, that forces us to export our jobs in order to be able to keep our jobs coming back and make America great again, like what Trump wants, because we're a strong economy. We are a very strong economy, but we're not number one. Um, where when you do it in dollar denominations, yeah, because we do all our business in dollars. Everybody else does it in their own local currency, and then has to, as we buy goods from them, we give them our dollar, we export our inflation to them, and they hold on to that dollar, and they go and they put it in the bond market, because it's a way to be able to hedge their bets and make sure that they're not going to get lost. And now, because of all the bipolarness between, Trump and then Biden and then Trump, in 2020, actually 2019, what's up, Beth? In 2020, 2019, China started making its own plans to because of what Trump did to them, and they didn't like what happened. And you've probably been in that situation where you've sat there and you've talked to somebody, or you're in a deal with somebody, and in so many ways they make you feel like they're a bitch, and you're like, look, I'm going to get out from under you. And this is never going to happen again. Well, what Trump did to China, in his first term, caused the Chinese to say never again. And so they started not only divesting themselves in dollars, but they started doing business with the rest of the world. A lot of what China does and China produces, and so a lot of what Trump is doing with these tariffs is, he like, because Vietnam says, "Oh, we'll go down to zero." Well, he says, "Well, we don't want zero." What he wants them to do is not only to to reduce the trade barriers, but he's trying to use these tariffs as a way to force people not to trade with China. Okay, so that is us to the rest of the world. I mean, that looks like a bully. Imagine imagine it was Russia doing it to us, or imagine that China, well, kind of China is doing it to us, and we're finding out that this is a losing battle, and this is not going to end well for us. Well, I mean, it's not going to end well if you hold on to the whole American prestige. We don't need to be the top dog in the world. We need to be the standard bearer of what freedom is. That's what made America great. It had nothing to do with our industrial wealth and anything else like that. That was what grew this country into the power it was. But without the culture that we exported first, with our movies, with our music, with our cars, with our technology, with everything that we exported to the world, in the same way that China is doing it. So now China is us, during World War II, where they put everything out, they manufacture everything for the world, because at that point in time, because everything was under the British pound, that point in time, the American dollar was cheaper than the pound. So it was, if you wanted quality products at less price, they got America was attractive, because we weren't the top dog. If we're going to bring back our industrial base, and we're going to allow our country to succeed and thrive like we did in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, then what we need to do is realize that being the reserve currency comes with its own consequences. And this is a consequence that we've had to pay for generations. Well, the rest of the world built our products and then sold them back to us, because our dollar was king. Well, we hollowed out our industry, we hollowed out our soul, the soul of a nation, by doing this. And so by allowing the dollar to no longer be the world reserve currency, to be a competing currency, what's up, Invisible Man? To be a competing currency, what it allows us to do is to actually compete based upon what it is that we have. America can still be cheaper than other places, because I mean, there's going to be other currencies that may be stronger than ours, including the Chinese yuan, because they are, with what they're doing with the Belt and Road Initiative, and Trump tried to put a damper on it, and he did for a minute. But the thing is unless we have Trump turn into Vladimir Putin, there's no absolute way that that we can sustain what Trump is doing, because the next administration is already going to be co-opted. If you haven't conceded to that, this is our one and only opportunity to have a for the people type president that actually puts America first. Even if he does it wrong, it's where his heart is, and that's why he won't lose support. I think that people see that he actually wants to do something good, and sometimes it doesn't work out. but at least he was willing to give it a try. And I think Americans respect that more than spineless people like Biden and Obama and even the neocons in Bush, because they played this diplomatic footsies with everybody. And yeah. But anyways, let's get into questions and stuff like that. Um, I wanted to talk about that because I think it's a big deal. And for those of you that are exposed to something like this, if the stock market tanks, I would say at best give it like 2 weeks, see if anything changes, and if it doesn't change, because you need bond rates to drop, and you need the price of gold to go down in order to stabilize your dollar. Because what it's telling you is that there's $400 more today in circulation for that 1 ounce of gold than there was yesterday, which means that, I mean, your money deflated by almost 10%. Our money as Americans deflated by almost 10% by something like that. Okay, what's up, Occult? What's up, Chris? What's up, Matthew? Okay, what's up, Beth? Hi, Invisible Man. Hi, Rails. What's up, guys? So, what do you guys do you guys watch my video today on the conserving water? It looks like it's going to be, I think it's going to be what I consider a flagship video. So what is a flagship video? At least what do I define as a flagship video? So back when I was doing the homeless stuff, and talking about homelessness versus doing what I'm talking about and been trying to talk about and stuff like that. Thank you, Beth. Instead of talking about that, I'm talking about a new subject. But back then, about 2 years ago, when I was in Cincinnati the first time, I put up a video, Beginner's Guide to Being Homeless. And I even did a remake, updated version of it that's been released. And yeah, I kind of screwed up on it. I won't let AI edit my videos ever again. Oh, no, not edit my videos. Do sound design. If you notice, all that dinging stopped, because yeah, it just it cost me a video that could have gotten 20,000 views out the gate, because I get about 1,500 to 2,000 views a month from that video, and I've been getting it for about 2 years, and that's like a $10 a month, and that I've been getting, as a residual, as a royalty for this video. So that's the one cool thing about YouTube, is sometimes your videos become eternal, especially if they're as applicable as something like that. So the one that I did today, I think will be something like that. I think it'll probably, over the next couple of years, it'll probably get a couple 100,000 views, I think, as water scarcity becomes a bigger issue, as inflation becomes a bigger issue, and as people start looking to be more conservative in the stuff they do. Because, I mean, quite frankly, a 5-gallon bag is more than enough to take a shower. You don't need more than a 5-gallon bag. But anyways, this is where I get to field your questions. What questions do you guys have? What things do you guys want me to talk about? What do you want my opinion on? What's up? So, if you did it once, you can do it again. Oh yeah. The thing is I've kind of got I've almost got the algorithm cornered, and I'm gonna make it my bitch. That's really what's gonna happen. I've got the grit and the determination to be able to do it. Nothing like a good cup of coffee. Oh, I love a good cup of coffee. I don't care what time of day it is. I don't care how hot it is. It's 85 today. I had to close the door though, because it was getting too windy. But yeah, this is what are you guys' plans for this weekend? What are you guys planning on doing? Me, I'm gonna sleep in tomorrow, and then I'm gonna have some pancakes, and I'm gonna have some eggs for breakfast. Same thing I have every morning, Pinky. I'm gonna have eggs, and I'm gonna have breakfast, and I'm gonna work on a couple of videos for my other channel that I'm working on, because I wanna get that one off the ground as well. Beth, I think you might be the best candidate. I'm really curious on what your monthly budget is like. I know your land payments are inexpensive, but what are your other expenses? How do you get around? Do you have property insurance? Matthew, no, I do not have property insurance. Now, Um, what is my budget like? Okay, so my property payment's 161. Um, if I pay full price for the water and I don't get a good deal on it, like I have been the last few times, then we're looking at something like, I don't know, 25 to 40 bucks a month for water, and then 20 bucks a month for propane. 40 bucks a month if I can afford cigarettes, and 50 bucks a month if I can afford my devil's lettuce. All that comes to under $300. Okay, I actually did a video on it. I didn't talk about all of this, but like if you wanted my all in all, what I have to spend on, and probably every couple of months I go and I get dog food, like a 20-pound bag for Sam. I feed her table scraps most of the time, but sometimes when I don't feel like eating, especially a couple of months ago or when I'm not feeling well, I'll just give her some kibble because I'm not going to eat. And yeah, and then just that's kind of why I have the kibble. But quite frankly, I've had this 20-pound bag for probably 3 weeks now, and I'm not even halfway through it. But yeah, my expenses are low. I get like 287 in food stamps because of it. But I have a bottom, and my bottom is more manageable than the average person. Okay. Reason why is because it's much easier to come up with 300 bucks a month than it is to come up with 1,000 bucks a month or 500 bucks a month or $2,000 a month to be able to pay for all this stuff. Okay. So 300 bucks a month. This is why I wanted to talk about the digital economy, because if you move out into something like this, it's going to be hard for you to find work unless you get a connection or unless you're in a booming area or something like that, or you have a job moved up. Okay. If you don't have something like that, it's going to be hard. I've heard lots of people tell me that the number one reason why homesteaders and off-gridders fail is because of finances. So how do you get your finances in order? You get in the digital economy. You do a side hustle, whether it be things like what I'm doing. Come on over to AI Homesteader and do something like that. Like, because I got pictures and postcards, or you can come over for memberships and things like that. It's up to you to see what it is that you want to do, but this is a way if you can make money in the digital economy, it makes the transition much better, and therefore you've got a bottom that you can work with, and then you just work your way out of there. So right now I've hit my bottom, and now I'm working my way out. So let's see here. Do you have a septic? What do you do with your waste? Trash service. I'm looking to get $500 a month, basically forever. Um, I'd like to set up something like what you have. Okay, so something real simple. Um, well, you're gonna want to have a trailer or something like that. If you go down in the description, I got the affiliate links for my solar setup. You got to go buy the battery at like AutoZone, but get a marine battery because they'll be able to withstand a lot of this other stuff. But if you do that solar setup, you'll be set up for power. As far as septic, no, I don't have a septic. It'll be a minute for me to get a septic. Let's see. What do I use? Well, I have what I like to call my shit bucket. I hope none of you are eating dinner. Yeah, if you guys would have saw it in the video, the little orange bucket with the big old thing of sod next to it. So it's basically a compost toilet. What I do is when I dig up rocks and I dig up holes, like I'm probably gonna put some of this over in the garden. I'm gonna bury it so that Sam can't get to it. But what I'm going to end up doing, I'm going to use that as a way to be able to do fertilizer. So, I mean, I can go pee on any bush, water any tree. I don't have to worry about that. But as far as the other stuff, that's kind of the easy way to do it. I fill up a bucket in a month or so, maybe 6 weeks. Um, the more people you have, the quicker it goes. So if you have a second person, you may do it every 2 weeks. So that's something to be thoughtful of. But yeah, that's what I have there for my toilet. When I get to a point where I can start putting permanent structures, I'm going to build me a composting toilet. It's just like the ones I saw in the AT, and I'm going to use that as a way to be able to have fertilizer for the year. It's going to be really interesting. Just even keep Sam away from it. But anyways, okay, pretty good. Thanks. Okay. What's up, Joanna? Uh, okay. It's from an insurance settlement from a motorcycle accident. Okay, yeah. Um, okay, well, I'm good. I'm glad. So you kind of been seeing my journey. Um, so yeah, with $500 a month, you'd be able to live perfectly fine out here, in the Arizona desert. The out of pocket expenses, the things that you're going to want to have before you get started, is you are going to want to have, especially if you're coming to Arizona, you're probably going to want to have at least spend probably about $500 to $1,000, because you want at least two of those 275-gallon totes that I have out there. So those IBC totes. What's up, smoking? The IBC totes are, it will be important. And then from there, you might have some incidentals, like you might have to buy like if I had the extra money, I would buy me a whatchamacallit, I'd buy me an extra propane tank, because then that way I can switch between them, and it's much easier to find a ride once a month. Now I don't have a car. Stephanie put me in a perfect spot. I'm 3.5 miles from east or west side of town. I don't have to worry about it. I can get into town pretty easy, and I can do it in a reasonable amount of time. It's like an hour up, an hour back. Turns into about an hour and a half each way, though, because I end up stopping to talk to my neighbors. Okay, just so you guys know, we have a viewer contest going for the month. If any of you guys would like to join, it's $10 per raffle ticket. You either do super chat, or you get double tickets if you do a membership, either here on Patreon or here on YouTube. Okay, first prize is the Sovereign Operator plus a digital bundle package. Second prize is an unreleased digital bundle package. And third prize is a membership to the digital homesteader. And both of those will make sure that you get access to early release on videos and stuff like that. Chris, I'm going to send you a link so that you can join over as a digital watcher. Okay, if you want to switch your membership from YouTube to Patreon, because I'm not going to be doing the early release, because I want to push. Here's the thing. With what I'm talking about, doing current events, and I wouldn't be the only person this has happened to, and I probably wouldn't be the last. But when you start talking about current events, and if it doesn't align with political policy, woke policy, or somebody's self-imposed policy, you could get demonetized, deplatformed, and pushed out of the marketplace. This is the next form of control. The next form of tyranny is the digital realm. And so now not only are they forcing you to work in the digital realm if you're going to survive in the future, but they're also using it as a means of control, so that if you, like me, how many type 1, if you've heard my story about going through the YouTube digital re-education camp, type 2 if you have not. I'm curious how many of you guys have heard that story, because if you haven't, I'll tell it to you. So 1, if you've heard the story of me going to digital re-education boot camp. 2, if you have not. So Chris has not. Okay, who else? 2 camp, no. Okay, cool. All right. All right. So we've got enough people so they don't know it. Okay, so this was when I was back on bike. Okay, when I first started out. Okay, so you guys have heard me tell the story about how my channel got deleted. Okay, well then I start this channel up, and I'm probably about 6 months into it. Not even 6 months, about 3 or 4 months into it. And this was during stuff with the COVID that was coming out, and something came out from the New York Health Department, and I quoted what the New York Health Department said. But YouTube gave me a strike, and I thought it was because of how I was making fun of Senator Rick Scott, which I got to meet in the McDonald's in was it Palm? Oh, on the Palm Coast. Yeah, I can't remember. Shit, I was there for probably about 4 days too. Panama City, that was it. So I was in Panama. I met him at a McDonald's in Panama City because I was going in. I met his guy. I told him, yeah, I was a YouTuber and everything else like that. And then I was a biker. And his assistant's like, oh, cool, I'm a biker. I'll follow too. And and so I got to talk to him. And one of the things he said to me was that some people just like war. Because I'm like, why are we trying to go into Ukraine? What is this bullshit with Ukraine? Nobody wants to go. Why are we being pushed into this when the people don't want it? And his response was, some people just like war. Okay, that was what Senator Scott said. And I thought I was getting censored for that, but no, it turned out that like about 6 months later, maybe 9 months later, YouTube comes out with its own digital re-education boot camp where it says, hey, if you come and do one of our classes and pass through the class, not only will we remove your strike, but we'll give you one free strike in one free strike for your trouble for doing this, because they're trying to get enough people to do it, so therefore it becomes mainstream. So I'm like, you know what? I know what they're doing. I know what's happening, but I'm gonna do it anyways because I wanted to get the strike off my channel especially after the trauma from getting 4 channels deleted because I talked about the wrong political family. Yeah, that still makes me mad. But anyways, so I went through, I did the digital re-education camp, and I found out that the reason why I got that strike was because the World Health Organization is the point of authority. And since that's our point of authority, anything that anybody else says is considered misinformation and a lie, and therefore you're going to get flagged or get a strike. So what they're telling you is, depending upon what government agency or international agency they choose to align themselves with, you will have to speak their narrative. So if you're whatever platform you're on, whether it's dealing with Zuckerberg or dealing with LinkedIn or dealing over here with Google, okay, they all have their masters and who they claim to be their points of authority. And if you contradict that point of authority, they will flag you and deplatform you and demonetize you. And that's why so many people are doing it, because they're unknowingly doing this stuff, and then people are losing their whole livelihoods. Like I had a channel that was like I was a week from getting monetized. I was a week from getting monetized. It was my gaming channel, and I probably never would have done the whole homeless thing. But because of YouTube censorship, that was a big factor in why I made the choice to become homeless, because I'm like, fuck these people, you know. So yes, digital re-education and Chinese style, but they're doing it in a very passive and polite way to make you feel comfortable about doing it. Oh, it's puppies and kittens and rainbows, you know, and unicorns. But that's what most people don't talk about. Nobody, you'll hear. Okay, Rails, you've heard the story. Okay, so nobody else has, but you have. Okay. I like seeing my name here. What's up, Jellybean? Okay. All right. Yeah. The only way you're ever gonna beat the system is to have more perseverance. One thing I've learned about my dog is her willpower is greater than mine, with the exception of a few things, and she will push me and push me and push me until I finally give in. This is what the system does to you on a daily basis. It keeps pushing you and pushing you and pushing you until you submit, because it's easier. It's got to be kind. Shh, you're not going to feel anything. You know, that type of thing. You know, it's going to be okay. You know, that's kind of the system that we have up around us. And those that want to fight against it are going to live a lifestyle a lot like mine. Whether I did it for ideology, for my own self-preservation, or just because I am who I am. Yes, we be the rebels. And that's why I call you guys my rebels, because I want you to join my digital rebellion and become a rebel. You know, become my digital rebels. Because with you guys, whether you have a free account over on Patreon or you have a paid account over on Patreon, you digital rebels need to be over there for one main reason. If I ever get deplatformed, you guys are going to be the ones that I lean on to come back. Okay, because you guys are the ones that believe in me. So whether you have a paid or a free membership, this is something that I would strongly encourage you to do, because should I ever get deplatformed from any platform that you guys see me on, the one place that they can't take from me, 2 places they can't take from me, my website, aihomesteader.com, and Also my other website, hobotuck.com, and then also my Patreon. Those are the three things that they can't take from me. Okay. And so if you want to make sure that if I ever get censored or if I ever get deplatformed, I mean, it happened to all the preppers, Pinball, Poplar, Canadian Prep. Like, no, I don't think Canadian Prepper got it, but everybody else got it. Angry Prepper, all of them. All of those guys ended up getting censored, and you kept hearing them talk about it. I'm like, yeah, you're probably doing something not right. And then I come to find out what's really happening. I'm like, holy cow, so yeah, if I ever get deplatformed because something I say, because I say the wrong thing or I give the wrong piece of information, I mean, that's really why they hate Alex Jones. I mean, I don't like Alex Jones for different reasons. I ran into his followers. They're basket cases. They're nervous wrecks. He basically gets them to live on fear their whole life, and they just, it's disgusting. Is he putting stuff out? Yes, but he's creating hysteria in the way he puts it out versus let me inform you, he is trying to ignite a fire, which will lead to other things that we don't want to. Do you have your websites and Patreon? Yes. Hobotuck.com, AIHomesteader.com, and Patreon. Those are the three places that no matter what happens to me, I've got. And AI Homesteader is much more safe because I pay a year in advance versus month to month with Hobotuck. So I could lose Hobotuck. But AI Homesteader, I have to pay for a year in advance. But it was only like $35 compared to like the 120 I pay through GoDaddy, and I only get half of what I actually need. GoDaddy is a waste of money. I love, honestly, I think I've kind of said something already to SiteGround. It's like, hey, look, I want an affiliate link or something like that. Because I think that if you're going to start a website, whether it be to write a blog, hold your pictures, have it private, have it public. I like Alex Jones, makes me feel normal. Yes, but it's the hysteria and the anxiety, the constant state of fear that he puts his listeners in. Like I said, I don't have a problem with his information. He's a very smart man. I used to listen, like the best time of year to listen to him is in December. For some reason, I would always I would try and listen throughout the year, but the best month of the year to listen to him is in December. And every year I'd come back and I'd listen to him, but he would get you so wound up and so anxious that like I had to put it down. That's why I like Bill Cooper, because Bill Cooper, at least he was like, here's the information. I'm not going to scare you, but here it is. Here's how you deal with it. Here's how you get around it. And so that's the type of people that I gravitate towards. And that's why I didn't like Alex Jones. The new Alex Jones that we have, I've been watching. I watch him now a little bit. I like the new Alex Jones because it's not hysteria. Because he's changed. I can see that. And apparently he was dealing with addiction because he was dealing with alcohol. And I mean, I could see why he would become an alcoholic. I'd become an alcoholic. Most of his viewers became users. I love you think he's a paid fed. No, I don't think he's a paid fed. I never said he was a paid fed. What I said is I don't I don't like. Oh, okay. Bill Cooper, I don't know if he was a paid fed or not, but I got introduced to him through On a Pale White Horse, that lecture, and then I just kind of followed him a little bit. Bill Cooper, honestly, I think Bill Cooper was wrong because he kept trying to say it was the driver that did it. He tried to say, I saw JFK. It wasn't the driver. But anyways, if I follow anybody, if I say there's one person that I'm going to listen to what they say and I'm going to take it as fact, it would be Billy Meyer, and that's because he's earned it. So, I don't know. Bill Cooper supposedly didn't survive, but a month after 9/11. Bill Cooper's been dead for over 25 years. Or he's been dead for 25 years. Hey, what's up, War Donkey? Oh, you think Alex Jones is a paid fed? No, he's not a paid fed. I don't think he is. If he just did an interview on Tucker Carlson. I don't think he's a paid fed. I think that he's a patriot. I think he is well intentioned and well meaning. And when you see something wrong, it's the American way to stand up on the rooftop and scream it. But it doesn't mean the thing is it's about delivery. It's about message. I could create hysteria around this whole tariff thing, or I could educate you, tell you what indicators to look for and how to sidestep it. Okay. If you look at my last video, that's exactly how it's outlined. I explain the problem. I tell you what to look for to see if it gets worse. And then I tell you how to sidestep it, because what's the point in getting hysteria with no solutions? Or hysteria, buy this package. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to buy this package. What it means is you need to be informed so that you can make an educated decision on how to be able to maneuver yourself around. Okay. So, what's up, War Donkey? Okay. Billy Meyer. Yes. I am a big follower of Billy Meyer. Okay. So I think that Billy Meyer is, he's a man, he's a human being. He just happens to be one of the wisest men on our planet, and very insightful. One of the things that fascinates me most about him is his predictions, because one of the things that he said is that after 2020, the America will no longer be a superpower. Well, what happened as soon as COVID happened, and then we got Biden, we stopped being a superpower. I mean, you could tell. Like, I knew we were no longer a superpower at that point in time. You could there was too many things that were happening on an international level. It's like, yeah, no, the rest of the world is getting bold, and we're either going to get into a fight or we're going to back down. And with Trump in the helm, we're going to get in a fight. Well, with anybody at the helm, we're going to get in a fight, just for different reasons. But he has some interesting predictions. That's part of the reason why I'm here in Arizona. This will probably be one of the places not nearly as ravaged, because like there's not supposed to be um, nobody's supposed to be able to escape this. The nuclear exchange alone, and the way that the clouds carry and get carried into the wind and get dropped in and stuff like that, I think that there's things that we don't necessarily know about, plus the cataclysmic things that it's going to do to our crops and to our food supply, to our water supply, and stuff like that. Arizona is supposed to be one of the places that will be not nearly as bad as everywhere else. It's going to get hit, but it will be less burned than everywhere else. And that's part of the reason why I chose Arizona first. Um, and I'm glad everything worked out for me. So, okay. Redacted is most likely feds. No, he's him and his wife are both reporters and expats. Um, I don't know. I don't honestly, I don't really. For me to be able to, kind of wade through all the misinformation, the propaganda, the BS, the slanted points of view, is to learn to question everything. Um, um, learn to question everything. And as Thomas Paine said in Age of Reason, if you can't explain it to a 5-year-old, it's probably not true. Okay. So that's another reason why I try to that's another reason why I try to make my stuff as simple as possible. Okay. What's up, Cherokee? Nice to see you. Okay, redacted do flip flop a lot. Um yeah, I don't know. I don't watch him enough. I used to watch him a lot, but I don't watch him that much anymore. I don't think it's really flip flopping. They're just doing stories. Your opinion should be allowed to change as you get more information, because I'm probably one of the most patriotic Americans you'll ever meet. Um, and even I understand the flaws and the failings of our government. I'm not willing to be blind to the overall fact that we may think we've got the best government. We may have been told we've got the best government. It doesn't necessarily mean we have the best government. And being an American doesn't mean necessarily a constitution. We are a community. We are a society, and that transcends the Constitution and a lot of other things. And so we as a people, our founding fathers said that The government was a necessary evil, but we needed to put checks and balances on them to keep them from getting too powerful. I agree with that wholeheartedly. But also at the same point, if you really take it from a modern standpoint, look at how an insurance contract is. You pay a premium, you get benefits. What are your taxes? It's a premium. What are your benefits? It gets put into wars, it gets sent overseas, it gets put into woke agenda, it gets lined with politicians' pockets. So you're paying for something and you're getting no benefit from it. It's about time that we have something that is more palatable, that benefits the American people. I think that Trump is probably going to be the first chink in the armor of the globalists and of the elites, to a point where he may end up being what pushes us towards a a more representative government versus a government for itself, by itself, and in the name of itself. And the all-seeing, all-powerful God. So, I mean, I think that is, so. Love a 5-year-old. Everything we need to know we learned in kindergarten. Okay. Did you get better net? You haven't lagged. Um, no, the weather's gotten better, and I've got windows open, so I'm not blocking the signal. I think it was partly the trailer is part of it. Plus, I also reset my phone. Knock on wood, connection stay good. Okay. Notice Tuck's mic is good even when he is outside. Yes. Well, I've got, if you see here, the little thing up here, it's got the noise reduction in there, so you don't get to hear Sam snoring or the creaking of anything or anything else like that. It cuts a lot of that out. I got it on sale on Amazon for $20. It was like normally 40. They had it on sale for 19.99. I'm like, damn, I need a new mic because I was starting to hear the echo in here, and that drives me nuts. That's the one thing I hate in a video is echo. And after using Farm Girl's mic set that she has, it's very similar to this, and seeing how good a quality it was and how easy it was, because the first mic I had didn't work very well. I couldn't, it didn't do its auto volume. But for some reason, if you're gonna get a mic, and a decent mic set that's plug and play, you need to spend $50 to $100 on one. I wouldn't spend more than $100 on one, but $50 to $100 on a mic set like this, um, I would say would be definitely worth the price, because, like I said, it's plug and play. I don't have to worry about it. Um, and it's pretty easy. It comes with two mics. That way, if I have to do an interview, I don't have to worry about it. That's something that's versatile. It's very important. So let's see. Sounds reasonable. Notice. Okay. But all right. Did you get better now? Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, as far as the net goes. But mm, God, I love a good cup of coffee. You have no idea. Next to a Coke, a good cup of coffee is good. Yeah, you guys are gonna sit there and see me have coffee gasms. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think, tell me if, do you agree with me on this, on the fact of how our government is and how it needs to be moved? Do you think that our government needs to, we've got a perfect government, it's perfectly fine, um, or do you think that we should definitely look at doing something that's going to be more beneficial for us, the people, because we're the ones that pay for it, and you're not going to pay for a house for somebody else and say, oh, yeah, you go enjoy the benefits while I pay your mortgage for 30 years. Why would you pay taxes without getting any benefits? I know a lot of people go, oh, well, you get food stamps. Yes, because I pay taxes, and so therefore, when I need it, it's there. I paid for this. You didn't pay for this. I paid for this. That's what my premium is. That's why I have to pay, 7% sales tax. That's why I got to pay 25% income tax. That's why I got to pay, I think it's like 10 or 15%, like Medicare tax and stuff like that. If, in all those different things. So I pay for all that so that I don't go hungry, so that if I ever need something, I've got it. In the same way, there's something that China does. Now, China is a different culture, and it is their culture. They are a collectivist society. We are not. Our government and their government wouldn't work. It would not work for our people because we are not collectivists. We are individualists. Okay. So I am in no way saying we need to bring Chinese government over here. But what I do say is that we need to look at some of the positive things that the Chinese government is doing and how it's benefiting the people and what's actually happening. And if you really wade through a lot of the propaganda, at least the mission, what the government tries to do, and this is how you manage 1.4 billion people that are willing to, torch you if they're starving. Okay. The people will rise up real quick if things become unstable. That's the quickest way for the CCP to lose power. So how do they keep stability, and what is it that they do for their people? And what they're doing for their people is actually allowing them to weather the storm much better, because we look at everything from a Western capitalist lens versus a collective communist lens, where things are different, values are different, and things like that. So one of the things that they do, and this is actually how they combat homelessness over there. And I love their immigration policy. Honestly, I love their immigration policy up to a certain point. So the way their benefit system works is it's tied to the town in which you were born in. So if you move to a different town and you try and relocate, well, if you need benefits, you got to go back home. Why? Because that's where your family is. It's more, they have a stronger family unit than we do here in America, and so therefore you go back, stay with family, and then the government will provide you with benefits, including a bungalow to live in, and to make sure that you have food and water and stuff like that. You're not supposed to get rich. It's not meant to be rich. What it is meant to do is to be a safety net, so that the weakest member of society will only fall so far. Okay. And so even if things get crazy, the government, because it's all internal, the Communist Party controls its own money supply. We used to, until 1912, 1913, when we put in the Federal Reserve Act. But for 87 years, we had our own currency. We had control over our own currency. And I mean, that's how Abraham Lincoln was able to fund the Civil War, was through greenbacks. He created it and then he defaulted on it because he needed the money. He needed to be able to pay for people to do it. And then we went back to the US dollar. Okay. So the thing is that our government has done exactly what the CCP did, because when you have control over your money supply, that means that you can actually stabilize your local community. And this is something that Andrew Jackson, who was the original one who paid off our national debt, the only president ever to pay off the American national debt. What most people don't realize is that he was a communist, at least a communist sympathizer, but that was in the 1830s. Marxism didn't come around until the 1850s. So to call him a Marxist is a misstatement, and it shows your ignorance. But he was a communist, and the communists believed that the money belonged to the people. And who here disagrees with that? Is it our money? It's our currency. We have to use it. Why does somebody else own our currency and then charge us to use our own currency? And they're slowly taking away everything it is that we have. Is our government working in our best interest? Okay. And these are some serious questions that we, as the American people, we're going to have to understand, because I think as we fall from power, we're going to have this internal look. And I think it's going to be ugly. Okay. I think it's going to be extremely ugly. But yeah, that's one thing that they do, is they provide basic benefits. You get food, shelter, water, um, and therefore you can go out and get a job. Now, here's the other thing: is that they don't allow wealth hoarding. Okay, so they don't have, so like Jack Ma, he got fined like $2.3 billion. Why? Because the thing is he was getting to a point where he became more powerful than the state. The state is the most powerful thing there. The state is God. And that is the one thing that, where we as individualists, we see that as a problem, versus them in a collectivist society. They don't have a problem with it, because they value safety, security, and stability over over personal freedom, versus us here in America. We value personal freedom. Okay. So this is just something that we, as a people, we need to grapple with. How do we create a system that as we all pay into it? Because I'm willing to pay into the system if it's going to benefit me. But why would I want to give my money to the government, who's going to go give it to everybody but me? Okay. And then they're going to devalue my currency, my buying power, and my opportunities, through their gross negligence and incompetence. Who wants to fund a system like that? Okay. And this isn't revolutionary or anything else like that. This is the American way. This is what America was originally founded on, in a lot of ways. Go do your research in history and see how close I am to the way that they were thinking back then versus the way that you think they thought. Mm. Um, yeah, Donkey. Okay, hold on. If it's a price gougers, don't start up before then. Okay, well, by the end of May, thinking about Tommy. Okay. Andrew Jackson was the most badass president ever. Yes, he was, Chris. He is. Him and Thomas Paine are my two heroes. Um, that's why I felt it was okay to talk about Trump being an Andrew Jackson, but I think that he's going to be more like a Colonel Custard. I think that was his name. The one that that lost the battle to the Indians. Today showed Tuck demo on conserved water. Oh, okay. Hold on. I missed something here. Okay. What did Ron Paul do? Oh, in the popular part. Okay. They're all authoritarians now. Um. Okay. Okay. So I'm trying to catch up on conversation. I wasn't paying attention. Okay. Um, yes, they value safety, security, and stability over personal freedom. We value personal freedom and opportunity over anything else. That is the American way. That is our culture. That is who we are as a people, who our ancestors are, who we are. And when you ignite that fire, America is a force to be reckoned with, just because of our vastness of resources and the fervor of the American people. Um, you know what? I'll give that one to you, Matthew. What he did with the U.S. Navy, okay, send them halfway around the world and they'll figure out how to get them home. Now that was genius. Honestly, that one that still makes me chuckle because I mean, that you had to have some balls to do something like that. But you know, he was a socialist, okay, and the reason why he got elected is because the people were getting tired of the barons that were making them work for pennies and you know they had to their children had to work and all the laws and stuff like that and everything was we turned into an oligarchy post American Civil War. If you look at the Reorganization Act, including how the corporate mandate changed in the 1870s, um, you will see that America became a corporatocracy. And after a while, the people got tired of it. And so somebody like Teddy Roosevelt coming in with the antitrust acts to kind of bust a lot of these things up, he was something for the people. We need something like that again. Trump is trying to do something like that. But how many what we have to wait 120 years to get another president like that? We need to be a lot better at picking our leaders. Okay. I think when we get better at picking our leaders, a lot of these problems and a lot of this crap goes away. But you know, we don't know. So okay, um, yeah, but yeah, Theodore Roosevelt. Yeah, Teddy was pretty cool. So mm. Okay, guys, if you like this stuff, and you like to, I'm going to encourage you. I'm trying to get everybody here every night. So Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, come join the live stream. We're going to talk about current events. We're going to have open topics where I'm going to allow you guys to be able to do the back and forth with me so that we can have a full-hearted discussion as a community. Because the thing is knowledge isn't gained nearly as quickly as it is in a group because you've got your information that you can share. I've got my information. That person has their information. We vet it. We see what's fact. We see what's biased, what's slanted, and then we figure out what the truth is, and then we all come together. Okay, so as a community, I'm asking you to join me 8 o'clock Eastern time every Monday through Friday. I'm not going to be doing Saturdays or anything else like that. Now, if you want to see me working around the homestead, probably in between 8 and 9 a.m. my time, which is what 11 and noon Eastern time. Um, is when I do my morning live stream. If I'm going to go do any work or if I'm going to sit back and cook breakfast and I want to have a chat with you. Every single day, I'm putting out a current events video, and plus riddled in there will be videos like what you saw today, where I give you little things that I've learned along the way. Now, if there's things that you want to know that there isn't any information out or on or anything else like that, and you want to see what I know, please ask in the comments of any of my videos. I will log it down on my list, and when I get an opportunity to do it, if I find it viable of something like, okay, yeah, I can do it, I have the knowledge, I feel comfortable talking about this, because I don't want to talk about things that I don't know about. I'm not going to pretend to know about things I don't. Okay, so I want you guys there for that. But this is something that I'm looking forward to. I'm inviting you guys to come join me in the mornings, about 11 a.m. midnight or noon, or in the evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern time, for the live streams. Okay. Anything else? If you want to get some more behind the scenes content, you're going to have to come over to Patreon. Everything's there. Everybody seems to like this. I'm seeing a lot more positive results. I'm seeing a lot bigger swing in the way things are going. Yes, news and politics and all that stuff is one thing, but and it has its everybody needs to know news and politics. What's up, DFH? Okay. But at the end of the day, it seems like this is gonna end up being the direction I go. Homesteading with current events. So if this is something you'd like, and you like the way that I think about some of these topics, then you're going to want to be here for other things. And be sure to ask me a question. I'm pretty transparent and pretty open. Okay. Also, if you want to help out the channel in any way, if you go down in the description, I have my merch store, which is TeePublic. I got 2 shirts over there. The one with Sam's butt, and the other one, the digital home, the digital rebel one. Okay, I've got those over there. Plus, it's got my website and Patreon links and all that other stuff. So if you want to help out the channel, everything's down in the description. Thanks for being here, guys, and I will see you Monday morning.